for her to do. But it changed the climate around the world for several years.
Yeah. There was like a good solid week, almost 2 weeks here, where we were supposed to have like temperatures in the low 90s, and it was in the high 70s because the sun just couldn't get through.
Yep, it's very interesting.
So it's good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, good that it wasn't super hot, but bad that it's smoky and hazy and gross.
Yeah. But like I could hear it in my voice the last couple of weeks. I would get on and start talking and I'd be like, what's wrong with my voice? And I'd be like, oh, I sound like I'm raspy or like I have a cold or something. It's really weird.
Well, if nobody from the community joins, what do we want to do?
We'll still talk about everything and then we'll just stop.
Yeah, and we'll have the video, I guess.
Yep. Because I know lots of people that this time doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
Still watch or watch it at double time or whatever.
Yep. Well, a lot of people are like just DMing me now their requests and asking questions and stuff too, so. And I know the guy who had submitted the one like community requested topic had said he was going to try to join.
Yeah, I think we can kind of talk to that. At least a little, right? The refactoring of Saltclass.
He emailed me again. All right, y'all ready to get started?
I'm ready.
All right, welcome to the open hour. For those who don't know, I'm Cassandra Ferris. I'm our community manager here at SaltStack. I do a lot of work helping basically make it easier for the core team and our contributor base to collaborate together. So we do these open hours every week. If you haven't been to one before, basically it's just time to have a free conversation between the core team and our contributor base. And you're always welcome to submit topic suggestions. There's actually a Google form you can do that, or DM me directly. And that's kind of how the open hour agenda is determined. If you haven't attended one of these before, everybody's welcome to attend them, regardless of your contributor level, your experience level, anything like that. We're glad to have you here, so thanks for joining me. With that, as always, let's start with some housekeeping items.
What do you mean by maturity level?
Like experience level is probably a better way of putting it.
Oh.
Yeah, experience level. Maturity level, All right, updates. We are still doing the Twitch streams. I've been seeing a lot of questions lately about testing, people wanting help with their tests, not sure where to start. So I'm going to put in a plug for our test clinic streams that Wayne runs every Tuesday and Thursday via Twitch. Basically, it's just a time for you to come, and if there's something, somewhere you're stuck on test or something you need tested, bring those to the Twitch test clinic, and Wayne can help you out. We're also streaming research and development with Tyler a few times a week. So
I'm actually on pause on that one for probably another month as my internet.
You what?
I probably won't be doing that one. I'm on pause on that one for another month as I figure out my internet situation.
Good to know. So I should change that off the calendar for a minute.
Yes, thank you. I'll let you know when we're back on for those.
Tyler, I actually gave you permission to that calendar to change those, so you can
Oh.
do those at will if you need to.
Thank you.
All right. And I made a note to do that. So tasks aren't supposed to come out of open hour. No, that's fine. But yeah, so
Wait a minute, I always have tasks out of this meeting.
I actually do too. Lots of them. Lots and lots of them.
That's okay.
Is it really a meeting if it doesn't leave you with a task? Okay, so anyway, Twitch streams. The other one we're doing is Triage, the test clinic, and then this event as well, or the open hours as well. So you can check those out. Upcoming event that we've been working really hard on is the documentation jam. We are all squared away and confirmed for that to be on October 7th. Basically, the most common piece of feedback that we receive from the community is that documentation needs a lot of improvement, to put it diplomatically. And so to get a jump start on improving the documentation, we're just setting aside a whole day where you can basically sit and focus on documentation. For those who are part of the PR Jam, this will be similar in that we will be live on Zoom and Twitch all day. There will be core team members available to help you, and then throughout the day, we'll update the status of what documents we've made progress on. There is also, I'm excited about this, there will be a keynoter speaking at the Docs Jam. She's going to be speaking in the afternoon. Name is Erin McKean, and she is from Google. She's a program manager there, works with documentation, and then also is the founder of a program called wordnik.com. As far as the Docs Jam goes, what'll happen is you'll log into Zoom that morning or whenever you're available, and then choose a breakout room based on one of the 3 areas you want to focus on. So we're going to have tracks on module case studies, issue creation, and issue triage. And then the final piece of information that is, because there's going to be some setup involved, we are going to be hosting a documentation clinic on September 30th. That will be, again, on Zoom and Twitch. We will post a video shortly afterwards, but Derek Ardoff and Elisa Rock are going to walk you through how to set up your environment and how to set up your machine in order to contribute documentation. So come and join us, check that out. I will put a link to the Docs Jam in chat as well. We have that information up on the SaltStack community website if you're interested in joining. Please RSVP. And like I said, even if you can't make it for the whole day, stop in for an hour or 2, and all contributor experience levels are invited to this. So whether you're new, you want a refresher, or you want to get started, you're welcome to join. Anybody have questions or need clarification on the Docs Jam? All right, next other major event is SaltConf Virtual on October 29th. We are working on an agenda for that now. We'll have that out in a couple weeks. Of interest to community members, we're going to have basically virtual booths where you can meet to discuss community initiatives. I know some will be focused on at least some of the work groups, but we'll also have kind of an area to just generally learn about the work we're doing and how you can get involved and contribute. And finally, timeline updates. This week, the core team has basically been focusing on finalizing everything for the code freeze. I've been doing some work with SaltConf and with the Docs Jam, and then started drafting a SEP about the advisory board that we're forming. So that SEP will be live here in hopefully the next week or so, and we'll talk about it at the open hour. The code freeze, I know Sage had posted this in Slack, but the code freeze date has been changed to September 29th. Basically what happened is we did a review last Friday and wanted to make sure that some critical things got put in, so we pushed back the code freeze. If you're curious about whether or not your stuff is going to get reviewed and merged into Magnesium, things that have passing tests and are labeled Magnesium are going to be merged. I think we're probably right up at like last call for submitting and updating things. And anything else to add about code freeze?
I did get some good feedback from Max Arnold to start announcing that a couple of weeks prior, and I am going to put that into my release communications plan to start putting some announcements out, maybe even do some automatic announcements there in the future so that we have that reminders, kind of, hey, this is when it is. I think we have some here, but we probably should do it a little broader. That's good feedback. Definitely take that
Like a
into
last
account.
call.
Not like a last call, but just like, oh, hey, this date's coming up. It's 2 weeks out, or it's 3 weeks out, or whatever it is, and maybe do a few reminders that way.
Yeah.
I think
we
we've done them here verbally, but I don't know that I have some formal stuff out there, and to have some more formal stuff, some more formal communication go out to the mailing lists and everything as well is probably a really good idea.
Yeah, definitely at minimum add it to the what's happening post. I'm learning that more and more people, like if we miss that for a week, people are asking, hey, I don't know what's happening this week. So people are starting to rely on those what's happening posts.
Yeah, I like that.
Thanks for adding that. All right, cool. Well, that is it for administrative and housekeeping items. I know we have 2 existing SEPs out there. One is SEP 25, adding runtime registers to Salt. One is SEP 26, packaging Salt with Tiamat. I'm not sure anybody has anything to discuss about those today, but if there's anything people want to talk about, now is the time to do that. How long do we plan to keep these SEPs open? Have we decided that yet?
On each individual one that we're looking at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have the guidelines for them, and the
Okay.
Tiamat one, I think we probably need to wrap up soon, don't we?
Yeah. And about Tiamat, since this is the community open hour, on the community Slack, there is a Tiamat channel where if you're having issues with Tiamat, or where the conversations in there flow a lot around the different pull requests into Tiamat, the tests that are failing or the tests that need to be written, and how to build Salt with Tiamat. So lots of good conversation there about Tiamat. I'd highly recommend joining it if you're interested or involved in that process.
Ooh, we can totally geek out. I just joined that channel. Very cool. Thanks for setting that up. And we should probably, if we haven't already, we should probably post the SEP in there as well to see if that drives some conversation.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we need to do on that SEP is actually go through the feedback and summarize everything. I don't think we've done that yet. So just like summarize what people have discussed or asked and said, and then that way we can make sure that feedback has been addressed on it, whether it's yeah, that's something we need to change and then changing it, or just that's something that we've thought about and are not going to do, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and I also put some links in the chat here on there's where the Tiamat repo is and where the minimal, there isn't really much for docs there. So also if what comes out of those conversations looks like that they should be reflected inside of the Tiamat docs, they can be updated with merge requests to the repo, to the files within the docs directory.
Okay, thanks for that info. And I see the link in chat. I'm going to share that link over to Twitch chat. Oh,
Actually,
never mind, you got it.
I just put there.
All right, thanks. Thank you, thank you. All right, nothing else on Tiamat. So next is a contributor reached out to me basically asking about the state and support of Saltclass. So I'm going to drop a link to the Saltclass issue in chat for you to look over if you'd like.
I know other people have much more information on Saltclass. I'm still not even 100% sure what it's useful for, but I do know that there's a PR out there that's been open for quite some time that was doing a large, I think the title is large Saltclass refactoring. And from what I understand, we had, we created the Saltclass thing and kind of went down one route and then realized that was not the best. And so there's this huge effort to refactor things, but it's not complete yet. So
Okay.
if anybody else has better information, it'd be great.
Well, I can give you some context as to why this was a question or an issue. Somebody had basically reached out to me, and he had said that he thinks that issue is the root of what's holding Saltclass back. It has references from and to a whole host of other issues, and it makes it so that Saltclass is essentially not usable right now. In this case, this person is a reclass and Saltclass user, or thought Saltclass looked like a good first-class citizen replacement for reclass, and that the concept is good, but there hasn't been any attention given to it since the initial merge, and I think he's just trying to determine whether or not it makes sense to use Saltclass in what he's doing. So I'm not sure what is the stat, or what are some next steps to move this from, it seems like it's been lingering in limbo for a while.
Rebase.
Yeah, that would definitely help. I was just thinking though that what might be a good thing, although I don't know how much interest there is, but is to form a Saltclass working group and get people who are interested in the Saltclass and willing to drive whatever changes need to happen in it, including documentation, and get that to completion. Because I mean, if you look at the PR, I don't know which one it is, don't have it in front of me, but I think it's like 3 or 4 years old or so. It's pretty significant in age.
Yeah, I'm looking, like the first comment was in April of 2019, so that's at least a year and a half ago. And there may have been conversation or something about it previously. So maybe then the next steps are to look back through the conversation thread. I can always contact, I think I will contact the community member who submitted this and ask if he'd want to do like a working group, kind of a short-term working group to address it.
Yeah, maybe. I know Max Arnold was also going to look through it, as there were some ports to master and things that he wanted to wait on, but we merged them anyway. And so he also suggested the same thing to me, to maybe get with Aubrey and the original author of the PR. And yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Or maybe there's a working group they want to bring that to. I'm not totally sure if there is or not, but or start a small one. Good idea.
Do we think it fits into a working group that exists?
I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I can't think of anything at the moment. So I don't think so, but open to ideas.
Okay, nobody has ideas. That was our last formal agenda item. So if anybody else has questions, comments, what is it that Tom says, rebuttals or complaints? Now is the time for that. Is there anything else that we have missed to share or that people wanted to bring up? Okay, then it looks like we'll wrap pretty early. I will get the notes from the previous open hour and this one up online soon. Zoom continues to have all sorts of issues with cloud recordings getting to me in time. I think that's supposed to be resolved soon, but that's been a challenge. Other than that, hopefully I'll see some of you at the documentation clinic or at some of the working groups. As always, if you have questions, if you have topic requests, any of that, reach out to me. And if you need help with anything, feel free to DM me as well. Bye, everybody.